Everyone. In this video, we are going to learn about validation in MVC. Validating user input has always been a challenging task for the web developers. We not only want to validation of logic executing in the browser, but we also must validate the logic running on the server. So why do we need that validation? Because of that user input. Just like we have created one text box, and that text box you have to enter that email address. If we are not going to validate that particular email format, then user can input anything. Just now they can enter that integer, decimal, anything if they want. So because of that, on some security purpose, you have to use that validation. In the MVC, we are using the data annotation. That data annotation we are basically used for that client side and server side validation. So what is data annotation? Data annotation are nothing but certain validation that we put in our model to validate the input from the user. ASP.NET MVC provides a unique feature in which we can validate the models using data annotation attribute. Let us understand some of the validators attribute that we can use in MVC. So open that MVC project, create a new project, select wave, ASP.NET MVC application, wave app or validation. Select empty template, ASP.NET empty template, then MVC, then click on OK. There are so many types of data annotation validators, just like a required, display, say data types, range. In this video, we are going to learn that all those validators. That project has been created. Click on Solution Explorer and right click in the model and add one class, that is a student model. So write that the class name, that is a student model. Going to add some properties, just like that is string, first name, then last name, email, then confirm email address, okay, confirm email, then next one will be age. Okay, now we are going to apply the data annotation. First we have to call that reference, that is using system dot component model dot data annotation. Okay. Now first we'll create one validator, that is a display. In the display you can write the actual name. So which type of, because here you have written that first names, because you cannot write the space between these two words, first and name. So here in the display you can write like that, first and name. Same we can do for that last also, last name. This one is the last name. So we are going to tell that this one is that required fields. So user must have to enter this value. So going to add required attributes, and here we can write that error message equal to, we can write that error message, that is first name is required. Okay, then also we are going to write for last name also. So add into last name, then last name is required. And same for email, I'm going to add this too, and same for confirmation mail and for age. Okay, so this one need to change the name, that is a confirm email. This one will be the email, and this one is age. Going to change this error message to age is required, or here confirm email is also required, and this one will be the email is required. Okay, so both should be same, that confirm email address and confirm email address should be same. So what we have to validate with the compare keyword, and we have to write the properties name, which one you are going to match with the email. So here you can write like email, then you can write error message, the email and confirm email should be same. Now one more attribute, data annotation attribute, that is a range. So range, it will be like 18 to 60. So here we can write error message, age should be between 18 and 60. So here you can write like a age. Here you can add one more, that is a max length. So here max length will be that 10, then error message, length should not more than 10 characters. And then also we can write like a mean length. Mean length will be 5. Then write the error message, minimum should be 5. So this type of attributes you can use for validation. Now I'm going to add one controller, that will be the home controller. That I'm going to add that home controller, add that home controller. Add, right click on the index, add view, add view. Here going to call that model, that is a student model. Okay, need to use using HTML dot begin form, that index, the action method, then controller name, that controller name is a home, then form method, it will be post, then HTML attribute, it will be blank. Okay, now we'll add the div class. First we'll write like a div class container, or you can like form dash group. Okay. Then write HTML dot label for model dot first name, then HTML dot text box for model dash first name. So here going to write like your class, that is bootstrap class form control. Then one more thing need to add, that is a validation message for model dot first name. The message will be null, then HTML attribute, then class equal to text danger, that is also bootstrap. Now copy this, how much field is there, first name, last name, email, confirm, the total 5. Just copy the 5 times, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now here this one will be the last name, then email and confirm email, and this one will be the email, then confirm email, then age. Now I'm going to add one button, input type, this one will be submit, then value will be the validate, the name will be also validate. Now going to call one action method, that will be the HTTP post. So public action result student model, that will be index, parameter will be the student model, obj student model. So here we will write that if model state dot is valid, if its model state dot is valid means that all those fields, that validation is returning true, that all those, if that it will return any error message in any properties, then it will return that false in that here. So return view. Now run the application. Down. Oh, text is looking big. I think this is a text area, to change into text box 4. Change to text box 4. Now refresh. Okay, now it's a text box. Now click on validate. Now you can see that you are getting that error message. First we have used that display, so open that one, the student model. First I have used display. See that here I have used that in display, that space between that two words, that first and name. In here also you can see that is a space. So what you have actually mentioned in that display attributes, so that one same thing it's displaying here. Okay, and the same all those field is required, it's showing that error message. Now we'll write that one. First name, if you click, then last name. If you click that email address, a@gmail.com, or ages. If I write ages 2, then replace validate. Now you can see that it's a range. This one is coming from the range attributes, because I have mentioned that it should be 18, between 18 to and 16. So if you will write here 19, then you will, and if you change to this one also A1 and click on validate, so here also you will see that one email and confirm email should be seen. This one you can see that one confirm email should be seen. So this way you can validate that one. But one thing, if you have noticed that once you are clicking on validate, okay, just see, so page always it's going to the server and validating there, the server side. But how we will check with that client side? Because once you will click, so at the same time it should check in a client side. So let's close the application. Right click on the project and click on manage NuGet package. Install unobtrusive. This one need to install. Go to browser. Now you have to install Microsoft.jQuery.unobtrusive.validation. Install this one. Press I accept. Now it's trying to install. Now this is successfully installed. Open the Solution Explorer, and here you can see that in the script folder you can see that two files has been added. One is that jQuery.validate, another one is that jQuery.validate.unobtrusive. So this one is the main file. Open that layout first. Before that, add into layout, open in a web config file. So here if you will go see in the configuration, then app setting, this too is added. So both should be true. That client validation enable and unobtrusive JavaScript enable should be true. These two. And what another thing you need to do, open that layout.cshtml and add all those three files you need to add. First one is the jQuery mean.js, that one you have to add. Second one is that validate mean.js, this one you need to add. And third one is that unobtrusive mean.js, need to add here. Okay, now run the application. Once you are going to add that unobtrusive, it will not go to that server. It will check only the client side. Once you will click on validate, see no more page is loading. So it's not going to the server and fetch that and validate from there. It's checking only the client side. Just like if you add, so same thing. It's remove from here also. If you will write like a 12, so at same times you will get that error message. But before, once you are not going to use that unobtrusive, so same time you will not get that message. Once you will press on the validate, then it will go to that server, and from the server side you have to validate all those things, then you will get that error message. Okay, now it's if you will write like a 45, that is validated, then now it's removed. Okay, now I'm going to create one custom validation. So create one class that is custom validation. You have to inherit required attribute, then override each valid. So this one I am going to apply in that first name. If first name, if it will be that @ symbol will be there, then it will be returned that invalidate. So how we will do that one? Just we'll check if first create that one variable, that bool is valid is validation equal to, first it will be make it true. If that value you are passing, that is a value, that value going to convert into toString dot contains, if it's contained that @ symbol, then each validation will be false. Okay, just return each validation. Now this one, this custom attribute, I'm going to apply in that first name. So I'll do that, just make attribute, and here you can write the error message. Once again, this custom validation is inbuilt in MVC, so I'm going to create that new custom validation. So going to call this new custom validation here, and then I'm going to write that error message. So @ is the invalid character, character. So this one will, if I will enter that @ in that first name, so it will return that error message, because I have created that one custom validation. So I have created new custom validation, inherit required attributes. So in that required attribute, I am overriding that is validate. So here I am checking that if its value is the contents @, so it will return that false, otherwise it will be true. Run the application. Write something first name, but before that I'm going to add @ or length also is there, so I'm going to then last name, then email, then age will be 19, and try to validate. Press on validate. So now you are getting that error message. @ is the invalid character, so you cannot write like a @ here. If you will enter only first name, now you will not get any error message. No, you will not get the error message. I hope it's clear. Thanks for watching.